We back in it. So that all represents how the so-called white man speaks as a dragon. All right. Verse 12, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And that beast that was resurrected from the government that the United States government was resurrected from was the Roman Empire.
Mm-hmm.
And if brothers, of course, that's familiar with the Roman Empire, that was a very vicious society, man. You had Emperor Nero, who burned down portions of Rome and blamed the Jews, the Israelites. You had Augustus, Tiberius, you had Julius. All these different men were so-called Negro haters, man. They hated Jake. And that's why I'm reading in the times of Yahweh Shah, the Jews didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out.
Mm-hmm.
And when you read Luke, the 2nd chapter, what it said, that they were being heavily taxed. They had to go to certain parts of the of the realm of Rome in order to pay their taxes, and it was still hard for them. That's why Yahweh Shah had to heal so many Jakes, because the medical field and the hospital, so-called the hospital at that time, wasn't taking care of our people, man. So we're living in the same times now, and Esau has resurrected that same system now, and that's why we're all driving to the point of how this technology and Esau's system is designed to damage us.
Yeah.
We've all been damaged living in this place, whether directly or indirectly, whether family, friends, or whether personal experiences in this place. We're damaged.
Yeah, we damaged.
And we need a savior. You had that?
Yeah. This is Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12. Salaki. It says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time.
What you want to say?
Oh no, you got it, bro.
Yeah, who is the devil? The so-called white man.
Mm-hmm.
And he's coming down with great wrath, knowing that he have but a short time. And he's coming down with Thor's hammer, sending from a whole other planet, dropping it upon the earth. No. He's going back to the policy. He's pushing out certain policies. He's monitoring you closely through these different iPhones, technology, which we were just discussing.
Yeah.
This technology, it don't matter what phone you have in these times, man. You can have a 2-3-year-old phone is damn near 20 years out of date.
Yeah.
That's how it feels.
Yeah, that's how it feels, because they come out with a new phone damn near every 3 to 4 months. And then, with the really with all the phones, at first it started off, you just had to type in the passcode, then it started off, you had to do the fingerprint. Now you can just look into the phone and then unlock with the facial recognition. So now with how fast technology is moving, now if you have a older phone, which all it can do is type in the passcode, it's going to be outdated and it's not going to work as well.
Yeah.
Now you have to communicate, so you have to update your phone. So that Esau is keeping track of all your information. Even though we know that Esau is going to try to persecute us, this is just another trick, that Esau has up his sleeve, man. Because as we just read in Revelation, the 12th chapter, it says that the devil is coming down on you because he knows that you have a short time, man.
Yeah, so he understands that his race is at his end. His run of wickedness. Scripture speak about how in Isaiah the 14th chapter, him being the hammer that breaks all the nations asunder. He's losing his grips upon the universe, so to speak. Right. Job 9:24 is a prophecy that's already it's already been fulfilled, and it's starting to pass, man. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. It's already been given into the hand of the wicked. Now is the time for righteousness to stand.
That's right.
But I'm gonna jump a little bit into this article about how America is the 4th worst abuser of biometric privacy rights in the world, and that's why we entitled it how 2020 is going to lead towards the microchip. Because it's biometrics, which we know bio represents the human body. So when you deal with biometrics, it's really infusing man's body with machinery.
metric, basically measurements.
Mm-hmm.
So the measurement of the human body, man.
Mm-hmm. And they measure you, like you use these phones and they can measure your walks, how many steps, your pace,
weight,
heart rate. You know, you can measure your blood pressure through biometrics when you go to the pharmacies and things of that nature. But they're gonna start installing this technology within you. So, all right, I'm gonna jump into it. It says, does anyone really believe America is still the land of the free? Hell no. You know, and of course that's not in the article, but that level of spirit is being, pushed out. And these be Edomite.
Yeah.
You know, these be so-called white men or women, you know, that actually publish these different articles, and they have no faith in this country anymore.
They don't.
You know, the ones that actually are in the land of opportunity that actually fit the skin description.
Yeah.
You know, to get the best jobs, they're barking at the system, man.
Because if you actually take a step back and look how America is run, you say, hold up, you know, this is not, you know, how it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. You know, I used to just go, get a job straight off of just being a so-called white race, man. You know, now, Esau is digging into the resumes, your background history, And
they putting more laws on that.
Yeah, and they putting more laws on that.
To check your credit, if your credit's not
check your credit.
Right, and all these different things. They check your criminal history. All these things is taken to even get hired to get paid $10 an hour, man.
Right.
But it says, since 9/11, DHS, which is the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, and countless other alphabet soup agencies have turned the United States into a public surveillance monstrosity. In 19 years, one terrorist attack has done what no one else could have dreamed of, turn America's freedoms into a distant memory. Abusing citizens' rights and privacy used to be the hallmark of dictatorship in police states like the CCCP or North Korea. And they'll speak about North Korea in these different areas, regions, like it's just a fucking horror show, man.
Yeah.
You know, they made Kim Jong-un seem like a super villain, like he was the next Joker. What about Donald Trump?
Exactly. Even Donald Trump mentioned how the the Army general he just killed. He was saying he killed all sorts of people and did all sorts of evil. You did the same exact thing, man. So what makes you different than him? Yeah, and they had a video. I think it was a CNN, NBC, one of these news outlets, where they was bigging this guy up a couple years ago. Basically giving him a memory like he was just a great guy. Yeah. But now he's just the worst thing since crack cocaine, man. Exactly.
But that's how Esau pushes the narrative. But it says a recent study conducted by Comparitech rated 50 countries from best to worst at protecting citizens' biometric data. The study found that America is one of the world's worst abusers of citizens' biometric privacy. While China's topping the list perhaps doesn't come as too much of a surprise, residents of and travel to other countries may be surprised and concerned at the extent of biometric information that is being collected on them and what has happened to it afterward. Right, which they're selling your information. They're taking your information through these social media, the dark web, whether you're on Facebook, if you have a Facebook account, an Instagram account, you have a Twitter, whatever, YouTube, Google.
Yep. Simply off just having a phone.
Simply off of having a phone. Which, when you read these different, what they call fine print acceptance, I don't want to use the word letters, but acceptance, where you have to accept to actually access the phone. When you actually read the fine prints, which I sat down and read it one day, and it was basically saying when you accept, you have to give us access to all your information.
Oh, the privacy description.
Privacy descriptions. And I declined it. And they wouldn't let me in the phone.
Yeah, they don't even let you in the phone if you decline it.
Yeah, you can't use the phone if you decline it. So you have to accept it. Which when you accept it, you accept all your information being traced and traded and marketed and used all over the goddamn world, man. So it's not your personal phone. You think these phones are yours? You think that you're the only one that's on this phone? You might be on the phone and you'll see these. You have a Brady Bunch picture, man.
Yeah.
You have a Brady Bunch picture of Edomites all in your shit with you, man.
God.
Reading your text messages. All kind of weirdo stuff going on.
Yep.
They know what you get into. There's no such thing as privacy in these times. And like I said, China, the level of government that China is going through, China, India, which they're already damn near pro-chip.
Yeah, basically.
They're one step away from just, shooting chips and citizens.
Yep.
That type of energy is going to be approached in America.
Exactly.
And it's not going to be as hard in America as it is in China. Even though Americans do have a level of division and things of that nature, China is a big-ass government. China is the population. As a matter of fact, I don't want to just speculate. We're going to the Chinese population because we're familiar. I think, if I'm not mistaken, America's 300 million. So China's, what it says, the state in East Asia is 1,386 million.
I think the women,
as a rating in 2017, of course. India's 1.339 billion, and the United States is 300 million. You want to say something?
I was just gonna say I think the women over in China can only have 2 kids per household. Just based off of the population. It's too many people there.
Yeah, and they're Esau or the government of devils, as you know, are targeting these major cities. You see the biggest populations are China and India. They got a damn near 1 billion people. Which combined 1.339 and 1.386, that's damn near
4. Almost 4.
Damn near 3.
Oh yeah.
1 billion plus, that's damn near 3, and it's, as it is said, it's roughly 7 billion people of the world. So you damn near got a quarter portion, damn near, or I say damn near half. 45% of the people that if you actually give them the chip, you already got them down. All you have to do is control America, Europe, Africa, the Middle East. You got the world. You got territory all over the world. And Esau is working towards that point. That's why people, again, like I said before, desensitized to these different phones. And the next phone that comes out, the next Xbox, the next PlayStation that comes out,
the next MacBook,
people are gonna line up in droves at the same. They're gonna line up in large portions to purchase these items.
Right.
But they don't know that it's all leading to their demise. You got it, bro.
I just got a quick precept. This is 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. And a way that Satan is seeking, to devour, mainly the elect of Israelite is by way of the chip. Because once you take that chip, man, there's no coming back from that. From the time that the truth started, which was 1969. To now, the chip has evolved more and more, man.
Hell yeah.
To the point where people are actually, a Tesla is an ordinary car.
Tesla is an ordinary car, yeah.
A Tesla is an ordinary car that self-drives itself, man.
Autonomous, yeah. Yep. And just like you said, the chip has evolved, which the scriptures speak about how the all was in your ear, and that was an ancient world type of imprint, and it would represent yourself being attached to your slave master. Now the so-called white man is, in today's time, the mark of the beast. It's the same concept. But it has so many more features to make you completely subjugated into this government to the point you can't even speak out, which we always bring up. They haven't came out with any episodes lately. We would know.
Black Mirror.
Yeah, we're big fans of that. Black Mirror. Of course, brothers familiar, but that goes into all. That should just be called the mark of the beast, man.
Yeah, the chip.
And it goes into so many perspectives of how the chip is going to be used in your day-to-day life in futuristic society, man. And how it's going to be not a utopia, something that's going to be of a pleasure, but it's a fucking nightmare, a dystopia, man. But this is Psalms. I had something too, back up what you were saying. Psalms 44:22. Yea, for thy sakes we are killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. Yeah, and who are we being slaughtered by? This government, man. They're leading us into a way that's not feasible. And Jake think that it's leading them to get, better technology, to be the next entrepreneur or the next tech leader.
Yeah.
You know, not knowing it's killing you. You see, and you'll follow Steve Jobs, and you'll follow Mark Zuckerberg and these different entrepreneurs and these different leaders of the so-called free world, and they just push out technology to keep you further embedded in the system, man. And it's coming to the point where you can't leave, man. You can't get out.
Nope.
This is a web. You know, F the dark web. You know, Jake is all book the dark web. This is the dark web.
This is the dark web that we're walking in. Hey, what's that? Psalms 23 and 4, man. The valley of the shadow of death, man.
Valley of the shadow of death.
Which is that valley is what? America. You know, so this is the dark world that we're walking in, man. You know, I think it's Philippians, the 2nd chapter. I believe it's like the 15th or the 16th. It tells you that we're basically amongst, you know, we're surrounded by the wickedness, man. You know,
saying whom you the crooked and perverse generation,
man.
Whom you shine as lights in the world. Read a little bit more on this, and then bring out a couple more scriptures, of course. But it says, Comparatech recent study on biometric privacy compared how 50 countries could collect and use data to identify innocent people. Many countries collect travelers' biometric data, often through visas or biometric checks at airports. Which you have one of the busiest airports here, which was at Hartsfield.
Is it Hartsfield?
If I'm not mistaken. Type it in real fast.
But it is the busiest airport in America.
It's Hartsfield Jackson.
Yeah.
Hartsfield Jackson at Atlanta International is one of the most busiest airports. I think Chicago was rated up there. You have some very, very LAX. You have some very, very busy airports in the United States, and they're gonna be a big portion. They're gonna play a big portion of biometrics or scans, because you have certain individuals that go through these different. They'll go through the scanner, and then they might get touched down by individuals with the scanners and joint like that. They might have to strip butt naked, and they might not have anything on them, so they're gonna get to the point where it's like, all right, you're not even qualified to do your job. We're just gonna start. You just have, if you have a chip that's good enough, you'll be able to get through clearance and all these different things. The chip is gonna be able to register. They still have individuals that's gonna work these jobs, but the level of access and the level of freedom will be, is gonna be so much more when you just have a chip in you, and you won't have to deal with all these different individuals talking to you, and you putting out all these different cards and passports throughout your wallet.
It also quickens the process. Because they say, here at the Hartsfield International Airport, they said that was the reason why they added, the biometrics, man, because it's the busiest airport. So it speeds up the process, so to speak. Once again, going back to, trying to make it seem like it's the convenience of it, man.
Which brothers went to Hartsfield, and they did a video. The elder brothers here, the brother Tazom and the brother Ava, they did a video at Hartsfield and went into the biometrics. So it ain't like we just speculating and talking crap, from behind the camera. The scripture says how we search. We do our research, and scripture says how are the things that Esau searched out through the spirit of the prophets. That's how they searched out. We'll continue on. It says every country we study in using biometrics for bank accounts, fingerprints to access online app data in order to confirm identities within the bank themselves. Despite many countries recognizing biometric data as sensitive, increased biometric use is widely accepted. Facial recognition, CCTV, is being implemented in a large number of countries, or at least being tested. And these tests are used eventually. If you, like for instance, before you purchase a car, they have to go through certain tests. You have to run them into brick walls and things of that nature to test the durability. And if they're extremely durable, if they hold up, if the airbags let out, deploy on time, if they pass all the tests that can set them at the standard of your model car on the road, they're gonna throw them out there. They're marketable. Yeah. So when Esau is doing all these different biometric checks of facial recognitions, and they're which it's billions of dollars that goes into these different practices. It ain't like Esau is just doing it off of the whim or doing it off of just a humbug. They invest a lot of money into these different practices because it's witchcraft and it's all to control and manipulate you. But it says EU countries score better overall than non-EU countries due to GDPR regulations protecting the use of biometrics in the workplace to some extent. It's a lot more in this article. I'm just going to jump to this last part. It says, what does the study teach us? That countries like Canada and the U.S., once bastions of a free society, are now near mirror images of surveillance states like China, Malaysia, Pakistan, India, the Philippines, and Taiwan is horrifying. The Carnegie Endowment for Peace white paper titled AI Global Surveillance Index warned that AI surveillance is being used by 176 countries to track individuals. As the spread of AI surveillance continues unabated, its use by repressive regimes to engineer crackdowns against targeted populations has already sounded alarm bells. And hopefully that is what you will take away from this story. Our government increasingly uses biometrics and AI surveillance to track everyone. And the ultimate standard for AI and biometric technology is the mark of the beast, the RFID chip.
That's right.
What stands on top of that? What towers above putting chips in each and every individual that they have no access to even take out? That's why when you watch movies with Vin Diesel was in one of them, Babylon AD. You had What Happened to Tuesday?
Yeah, What Happened to
Monday? What Happened to Monday?
Yeah, What Happened to Monday?
And they show all these different individuals in order to get access to the certain cities. They didn't pull out debit cards. They didn't pull out passports. They just scanned their hands, man.
Yeah, really, cash is obsolete.
Cash is obsolete.
Cash is really obsolete here in America, man. But speaking of, just bringing up China, hey, they'll look at you. They'll actually deny you if you try to give them cash, man.
Mm-hmm.
They'll look at you like you trying to give them a foreign object, man.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna start looking at individuals like terrorists, and that's why you have even government, which we'll end it with Revelation 13, 15. But that's why you have even in the government you have a policy known as civil forfeiture, where if you have, say for instance, I'm driving around with $3 million cash in my trunk, and the government stops me, the police, APD stops me from driving, and I might not even have drugs or anything. They can take that. They can take that.
$10,000 is the limit that you can actually have straight cash. 10,000 in America, I know, is $10,000. Anything over that, the government can take it.
And they've done that to plenty of individuals because it's not registered in the system with paperwork or what paper trail do you have where Esau can track you. He needs to track you. That's what it is. He wants to track you at all times.
Yeah.
When you have a FedEx package, the big thing is you want to track your package. You want to know where it's going, how far it is, when it's going to arrive.
Is it still in good shape?
Is it still in good shape or whatnot? It's the same thing with you. They want to track you, see how far you away from your locations, whether your jobs and all these things. And in order to get employment, watch, they're going to start getting to the point where in order to get employment in certain jobs, you got to be heavily tracked. Amazon Prime, these different trucks, when you drive these different trucks, man, you cut it off and you cut it. Sometimes when you cut it off, you're still being tracked, man.
Yeah.
They have GPS locations. They have GPS embedded in your software.
That's right.
And they'll tell you where to and where not to go. So I actually did, when I used to drive trucks.
A certain speed. You can't go over a certain speed limit.
And then they'll actually rig these different trucks to the point where you can't go over 70. You can't go over 68 and things of that nature. And they'll still keep eyes on you through, tracking. So we'll read that.
This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 15. It says, "And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great."
See, he, so-called white man in his rulership, and not only him, like we just read, India, Pakistan, I think Taiwan, Philippines, China. These different governments are notorious for pushing the chip. But it's mainly narrative. The narrative is mainly pushed in through John talking about America because this is where the Israelites dwell. The Lord ain't talking about no fucking Chinese people getting shit, man.
Fucking heathens.
Yeah, heathens. Talking about when the so-called white man cracks down upon us. You know, the ones that's familiar with the Lord, the ones that's the apple and the sheep of the Lord.
That's right.
Apple of the Lord's eye, you know? Some more?
You get kind of. It says, and he calls it, verse 16, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive the mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
So you're going to have to actually have some type of imprint in order to be registered by the government.
Every citizen is no skipping, man. It says no, whether small or great, rich or poor, or free and bond, man. The so-called white man, or we know as him as Esau, is going to force the chip on everybody, man.
Like even now, the so-called white man forced birth certificate, Social Security. I have a Social Security. This brother has a Social Security.
Yeah, you gotta have it.
If you ain't got a Social Security and a birth certificate, you looked at like a goddamn alien, man.
Yeah.
Like you talk to a brother, hey brother, you know, you got your birth certificate, Social Security. No, I ain't got that. You look at you like, yo, was you born here? Right. They look at you weird. It's gonna come to a point where you weird if you don't have the chip.
Yeah, and people think that we talking crazy when we say this. Your Social Security and your ID is a form of the chip.
It's a form of the chip. Barcodes, certain numerical codes that identify and place you as a cattle in the system. It's numbers to put you in the system, man. You know? It doesn't represent who you are. That's why when you go into law, when you go into the straw man, when you go into your ID, your name is in all caps. Yeah. They don't look at you like a person. They look at you like an object or a number when you're in the court. They even use terminology to deem you as such when you're in court, when you deal with, Jake gets into that maritime law and all that, sovereign citizen shit, but it's true. A lot of it is true.
Yeah.
But we're just going into the facts of it. That's just how the system is designed.
That's right.
So we just, it's still some more that is the main thing.
That was kind of the main point on it.
Yeah, so we're in a time, man. We're in a time where it's revving up. 2020 is leading towards the chip. Not we saying it's going to be the chip time where Jake is going to be, going to receive the mark of the beast, the RFID chip. It's all leading to that time. Esau is pushing surveillance, which what they call, or another term is Orwellian societies, which when you watch apocalyptic movies or dystopian movies pertaining to the end, movies pertaining to rough governments, they speak about either dystopian or Orwellian governments where it's all eyes on you, all eyes on everything you do. And that type of surveillance is going to lead to them trying to keep surveillance embedded within your skin.
Yeah.
You see? Monitoring your thoughts because he wants to be omnipotent as the Most High, as it is written.
That's right.
But the Spirit of the Lord is on brothers to prophesy against it, and the elect, the righteous ones, will fight against it until the end.
That's right.
And will be free and pushed out of this kingdom. Hey, just like the movie The Matrix.
Yeah.
When you watch The Matrix, those fucking Sentinels, they was on your shit. They was all about executing and killing. Keeping, and there was like surveillance. They had that surveillance type of spirit, vibration on them. Because they was able to track them, and they were relentless, man. They didn't run out of gas. That's why when they had to cut the whole, I forgot, the Nebuchadnezzar. They had to cut the Nebuchadnezzar off, and then they went without being monitored because they was basically in a surveillance state, and they had to stay underground to the point they got risen up to Zion, which that was the concept. And it's the same concept now. That's why they was putting that word out on the internet. If you watch the movie, they was putting the message, encrypted message, on the internet constantly until the Neo and the what's the word? Neo means new, and the righteous ones would be woken up. Because you see the next Matrix, you see more people start to get with the vibe. It wasn't a lot of them, but there was a small company, but they was in the spirit, man. And they was ready to fight with their lives until the end. So, that's just all we have for Akim. Hopefully, brothers will edify. We're going to end by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom, Akim.
And Shalom.